and the waves are coming in quick.
Welcome back to OC Outdoorsman. Well, I'm about to launch from an unprotected beach, and unlike the ones I've faced in the past, the waves today are a bit larger than before.
Forgot to record my launch there. Looks like I survived it. I am soaking wet. So for launching this Yak in the surf, I typically use either 2-piece rods or this Shimano Travella, which is about 5'6", 5'7". It's a shorter rod. Fits nicely into my hatch. Also brought some squid. One thing I forgot to do yesterday is take some Bonine. I typically like to take that just in case, and today these are pretty rocky. So far I've not gotten seasick.
Now, here's a fish that I'd never caught before, at least not down south. This is a fan-tailed sole. It looks similar to halibut. It's a flatfish, but it's much smaller, and this is actually a legal size, but I ended up letting him go. If you're curious about my rig, you'll notice that I am using the trusted drop shot with one of my favorites for flatfish, and that is the Berkeley Swimming Mullet. I'm using the white grub there. So here's a better look at him before I release him back into the ocean.
Finally on a rockfish. 132 feet of water.
You know, it's pretty slow. A couple hours later, we had moved into much deeper water, and here I've hooked into my first rockfish of the day. And I'm not quite sure what this one is. It's brown in color. Comment below if you know what kind of fish this is. Once again, if I don't recognize the species, I'll just let it go. So this is one that I released shortly after I landed him. So here's my first attempt at landing my kayak on an unprotected beach where the waves were of decent size. So it looks calm right now, but as I get into shallower water, the swells turn into waves. And you can learn from my mistake here, because if you look behind me, you will see that swell slowly convert into a wave. Okay, here it comes. Look at that wave behind me. So my mistake was not getting out in time, and there is the first time I've ever flipped this kayak in the surf. So as you can see here, I have my marine radio. Good thing it was tethered to my kayak, and it is waterproof. And yeah, the only casualty here is probably my fish finder. I had all my rods and gear stored inside of the waterproof hatch and hull, so everything remained dry.
Well, when I got flipped in the surf, my fish finder got dunked. So I'm not sure if that's going to work tomorrow. But fortunately, no other gear, nothing was lost. This may be the only casualty of the day. Alright, so here's the 3 fish that Mike caught. So the bet is on the big fish. So Mike, what was your guess, 13?
Yeah, 13. 13, I guess 11.
11.
14.
14, and I'm 10. I'm guessing 10 pounds. So let's...
Winner without busting, right?
Right.
Winner without busting. Or winner... Well, hold on. Winner can't buy first round. That doesn't work.
No. Oh, yeah. So what does the winner get?
We'll come up with something the winner gets.
Okay.
10 pounds.
10
It actually is 10 on the dot.
halibut.
10 on the
Oh,
dot.
winner.
10
Chicken
pounds on the
dinner.
dot. Let me see if this guy didn't rig it. Okay, that's money. Yeah.
All right, what'd I win, guys?
Mike's gonna visit you in the sheets.
I say you get the cheese.
Yeah. You got good. You good. You have such a nice view.
All right, day 2. Here are the conditions today. It's really overcast.
The conditions actually worsened the following day. The surf was actually up. It's really difficult to gauge the size of the waves from the GoPro, but when you're actually in there and trying to launch your yak, these waves approached 3 to 4 feet. They were bigger than they appear on the GoPro here. So as you can see here, I have my kayak in the water, just getting ready to launch. And at this point, I'm just timing the intervals between sets. So as a wave comes in, we'll see how many seconds it takes before the next one slams into my kayak. And when the intervals are long enough, I jump in and start my way out. Now, one technique that I used the other day was to just focus on pedaling. I didn't even touch my paddles. And when on calmer conditions, that works. It works well, actually. But today, the intervals between sets was much faster, and my initial attempt at using the pedals to launch did not work. My kayak nearly flipped. So I ended up having to use my paddles on this day, and I got soaked. So at this point, I barely had clearance below my yak to engage the pedal drive. So I had to rely on my paddles to keep moving forward. But as you can see, the intervals between waves was really short, and I kept getting pummeled wave after wave. So I didn't dare take my hands off the paddle to try to engage that pedal drive. Doing so could result in me flipping the kayak again. So here I'm just paddling furiously to get into deeper water. But you can see those waves were just constantly coming in. So here I've cleared all of the swells and waves. I'm in deeper water, but I am soaking wet, and that's never a good thing on a cold day like this. But Mike is coming up from behind me there. He's having problems with a stuck rudder, so he's going to come up to the side here, and I'm going to try to free it up.
There.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, I need a blower or something. Dude, I went through some of the biggest waves.
Oh,
I
man.
was like, crap, I should have stowed stuff, because it didn't look that bad.
It didn't,
And
but
then I got hit. And it went right through. I didn't even go like sideways though. This thing.
I almost ate it.
Yeah.
But no.
So here I was drifting a squid on a trap rig, and I land this nice little fantail sole. Again, this is a legal fish, but I just let this guy go. I didn't keep any fish this weekend. Alrighty. Go home. Alright, off you go. Alright guys, I'm freezing my butt off. It is really cold and the swells are crazy, so I'm gonna head back. Well, because of the wind, I'm gonna have to do a voiceover here. It was really starting to get tough to hear me. But at this point, I decided to head back because, yeah, the wind was definitely getting stronger and the swells were starting to pick up as the morning progressed. But I was only out for about 2 hours, and now I'm going to be heading back. So, lesson number 2. Again, learning from my mistakes. Wear the proper clothing. I didn't bring a wetsuit with me this day because every time I've gone kayak fishing with a wetsuit on, I would overheat, and it's just a miserable experience. But that's in Orange County, where it's a lot warmer. If you're going to be kayak fishing in the northern part of California or anywhere where it's cold, wear a wetsuit or something waterproof. Because without that, if you get wet on the launch, you are going to freeze. And that was what I was just suffering from today. So at this point, you could see I was just being rocked by these swells and the wind was just blowing. So I just headed back to the beach.
Okay guys, I made it back. Yeah, I actually made it. The landing was perfect. I should have taped it, but what I did is I rode the wave and then I jumped out behind my kayak and the wave just pushed my kayak all the way back in.
So to paraphrase a little bit, the best thing you could do in conditions like this is when you approach the shallow water, jump out of your kayak, and if you're able to, grab the stern of the yak so you can guide it in. Sometimes if you're lucky like I was today, the waves will push the kayak all the way into the beach. But one thing you should never do is attempt to control your kayak from the bow or the front. If you do that, a swell or a wave will push that kayak right into you. Very dangerous. You should always stay behind the kayak at the stern to control it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you would, please consider subscribing and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you.